Hey there, YouTube! How in the fuck are you guys doing today? So today, what we're working on is the 2006 TRX250 or 450R. We got the frame sandblasted yesterday, so it's all cleaned up. Today, what we are doing is we are going to weld on the Texieiratech Gusset kit. Okay? Now, with the Texieiratech Gusset kit, these are all the gussets you get. And we're kind of going to be explaining like how these go and all that stuff. As you can see here, there's a lot of stuff that we got to weld on. So the biggest thing is first we have to like prep these areas where everything goes. Now I started working on this last night because so kind of how these work, is they are a box system, okay, for the whatever. And I want to get all this stuff smoothed out, all in here kind of just smoothed out, everything kind of cleaned up. So as you can see, I got all my grinding wheels out and all that stuff. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all this stuff fit in there and kind of show you where it goes and where everything kind of does, and then we'll kind of weld it in. So the biggest thing is that when you get this Texieiratech Gusset kit, it comes in a bag. By far, I feel like this is a really good kit. I did some research on this because A, I've had this quad for a while, and B, you know, it is what it is. So I just got this box up here, okay, and we can see all the pieces. Now the biggest thing is figuring out what pieces are what. These are very easy. This piece is very easy, but there's a couple that are kind of tricky, like this number 9 and number 10. Okay, you can see. So what I did is I just looked for where, you know, like this one has more of a triangular, so that has to be 9 because it's got more of a flat spot, you know. And then the biggest thing is that you're going to need some grinders and a patience. I'm going to fully TIG weld my frame together, but the first thing I want to do is just get it all kind of ready. So I'm probably not going to bring you guys along for, you know, just me running the grinder, you know, because there's some stuff I want to grind this tab off, grind this tab off. I don't really need those two. I want to cut this off up in here because I feel like I might leave that. That's not really too bad. You know, smooth everything out, as you can tell here, you know, and then weld up, you know, like I got to do some more welding here and here. So we're probably going to be flipping the frame all around, you know. Any places that I can see that I can get weld, I'm going to try to weld it up, you know, like weld this bracket more, weld this bracket more. Just kind of take my time and make sure everything looks good. Like this can probably be ground off there. We don't need that. You know, make sure these are good and welded, even down here where we're missing a spot. But what you're going to need to do this is some patience and all that type of stuff. But without further ado, I got everything labeled, and I'll show you where it all goes as we're tacking it on once I get the fitment right and everything. You know, it's like a lot of referencing and looking at pictures that I found on the internet. There's a lot of stuff. So gonna be a lot of grinding today. Maybe hopefully we can get this welded up by the end of the day. That's my goal. If not, have it done on Wednesday. Today is Tuesday. I did vote. Remember, voting is important. But that's this Texieiratech Gusset kit. I want to do a pretty good job because I can't find any videos on YouTube, and maybe somebody will, you know, appreciate this and like it in the future. The first two pieces we have tacked on there. We have this piece We got to put these on first because I'm working on the hardest one first. That's the subframe mount, because you can see this is supposed to rigid the subframe up a little bit, and like this side is a total bitch. So we're gonna have to do some cutting and grinding and all that type of stuff. So the first pieces I put on there, 15 goes, when you're welding this, the piece 15 goes on the kicker side, both sides, alrighty? So we got that. We're gonna have to heat and beat. 14 goes on the gear shift side, or the non-kickstart side, or, you know, you guys pretty much know. So those are those two. What we're gonna do is flip this thing over, get it welded. You know, we're gonna stitch weld this real nice. Now what I'm using is 16th tungsten, and I'm using kind of a big gas lens to give me a lot of coverage. And then I'm just gonna slowly nice TIG weld this all up, rotate the frame all around and all this stuff. It's gonna take some time. So I'm probably not gonna video all this stuff. I'm just gonna show you video of it tacked up, and then we'll kind of show what, if I can lay some dimes today, or if I'm being kind of fucking shaky. But that's that. This is my MIG set, or my TIG setup. Ooh, water's leaking. Tighten that up. That's my, I have to, tighten that up. This is my water-cooled TIG torch. Now, what a water-cooled TIG torch does is just so you can run high amps, and basically, what am I going to say? The torch doesn't get hot. It also controls the heat a little bit better, I feel. But this is my welding setup, and we'll go ahead and get ready and fucking weld this thing up. Okay guys, so I have pieces 14 and 15 welded on here, and this is kind of where they need to go, if you will. Now you want to do this first, because these pieces need to go these pieces need to go right here. Now the reason that I'm doing this like this is because now we have to bolt the subframe up, if you will, and these act as braces, and then we can TIG weld all this stuff in there on both sides. So that's the first piece. So you want to get these fully welded, okay? And TIG welding is going to take a lot more time than MIGging this, but you can see, you know, it doesn't look too bad on there. But these are where these gussets go, and you'll have to, like I said, grind down this stuff. So that's the first step, okay? Is getting all this done, and then we'll surface prep all this stuff a little bit later. So, looking at our chart, we've done these 4 pieces right here, 14 and 15. Now what we're going to do is bolt the subframe on, okay, and go ahead tonight and tack these in. Now these took me a little bit to tack this, or to get this all welded up, just to get the fitment right and all that stuff. I'm kind of anal about that. The tighter you can make this fitment, the faster it'll weld. But just remember, you know, take your time, do a good job, or, you know, you guys can always send me your chassis and I can weld these on. It's going to be expensive if you want it TIG welded. That's probably the only way I would do it, is it would be, you know, legit. You want to have this nice. Now, what I'm thinking about doing is, the idea is to make this chassis as rigid as possible. So right here, what I'm probably going to do is MIG weld all this. I'm going to MIG weld this, MIG weld this, MIG weld that, and then come up here and then TIG weld all this in, just to make that rigid. You know, in any place that I can find that the, you know, like right here, weld this all in, weld these gussets all in. Now, you don't have to do this on your frame. That's not part of the Texieiratech, but I just think it would make the chassis more rigid. Anytime that we can get this thing rigider, I think is better, so the suspension stuff doesn't move. That's the biggest key, you know, is bracing this all up. You know, like I think I'm going to come in here and try to tack weld some more of this down, you know, and make this rigid, as rigid as I can fucking get it. But that's the first two steps. So we got that on. Now what I'm going to do is bolt the subframe back on and, you know, finish grinding all this so this fits beautiful again. And I'll come back when we get to that point. Guys, so now that we got this fitment, if you look here down this way, it looks pretty good. Now here's a technique. Go ahead and put you a couple washers in this because you're creating a box here. And for powder coating, this will give you some more room. Just a quick little tidbit, but that's really good fitment there. Then all we got to do is, you know, weld that up. See how I got those washers in there? That's just a cool little trick to make it so, you know, it's easy. But you can see now why you want to weld these on first, then this. I'm doing the most difficult part. This and up here is going to be difficult, but right here, this shouldn't be too bad because we can lay it over and do a bunch of stuff. So we want to really nice TIG weld this all in. Now what sucks is this is like cast and it's real heavy. And it's just difficult. You know, so it takes a lot of heat to do this. Like I'm gonna have to turn the amps up to about 60 something. But really I wanna look at this and just make sure that it's all good. And then I'm gonna tack this into place. But just remember that trick. Put you some washers in there because you're creating a box here and then you won't scratch your powder coat going back together. So now that we got this fully welded in and all gusseted it up, this is pretty nice. If you could see both sides here, looking down it, it looks pretty straight. You know, this one's a motherfucker because you got all this stuff, you know, it's kind of a bitch. But that's step 2 of the Texieiratech gusset kit right there. Now we'll move on to up here. This is another tricky part. I'm trying to do the tricky parts first before I go into the other parts. But that'll probably be tomorrow. It's getting pretty late here tonight. And, you know, it'd just be nice to come in fresh and not fuck this all up. Because, you know, like if I was doing this for a customer, you want it to look pretty nice, not all fucking janky. And this stuff will smooth out a little bit once you sandblast her again. As you guys can see, what I did is I just cut this little section off up here because, you know, this would be janky as fuck sitting on there, so I just got rid of that. But that looks a lot better. Okay, the next part of the frame that we're moving on to is up here at the steering. I don't know what you really call this, but this is the steering clamp. So what we have to do is box this, gusseted it in, and what I did is I just welded up the bottom of this just to make it a little bit stronger. I'm also going to weld up the top. Now, the piece that you need for that is piece 16, and it looks like that. I already got it in there, and you can kind of see it doesn't really give a good direction. So I just, you know, kind of ground this down a little bit and then put it up in there. Also, what it says is this blue highlighted circle area is what you also want to gusset. Okay, so you want to weld this up like I'm doing here and here. You know, like it has a hole like this, and you want to get it to look like this. So that's where 16 goes. Now what we have to do is we're going to tack this right here and then bend this over, tack this right here and bend it down. It's getting late in the day. We're probably going to do that tomorrow. And then we should be good, and then we'll just keep moving it on. This the first one of these I've ever done. It's taken me some time, but you know, fuck it. Figured show it on YouTube. There's not very many of these out there, so you know, it is what it is. As you can see, we put pieces 16 in there. That's gonna be these right here. You might have to grind to fit up there. Alrighty, and then what we did is we welded up all this hole, welded up this hole, and then what you have to do is just weld this up, tack it here, and bend it over. Got this side done, so that's all ready to go there. And then what I thought is, you know, like this wasn't fully welded, so I just welded all this in, especially up here on this. This is the part of the shock tower, so I thought that would be more important. We gotta weld these in, all right, just so we got those fully boxed, you know, and then we'll have welds down here. So the next part that we're gonna work on is there is quite a bit of stuff. So the next piece we're gonna put in is number 13, and it goes here. Now I gotta sand and grind all this stuff out, and then we'll put piece 13 in there. Alrighty, and piece 13 is right here, and it goes just like that once I get this dingleberry off there and all that shit. But we're moving right along here, so let me get ready and clean all that up, and you know, grind this down. And I cut those this is to mount the brakes. I cut all that crap off. We don't need that shit. We'll just zip tie that on there, you know. So that's the next part. Then we have to add extra weld here. The last piece we're going to put in is down here. Well, we got some to put in here and here, and I just got to look at some more pictures. So moving right along. We got piece 13 in here. We have piece 9 in here, and this is where it goes. 9 goes right in there. I welded both sides. I don't know if you're supposed to or not. I did, just because I'm here. Also what I did is I welded up this to kind of make this more stronger, in my opinion. Oh, I gotta fix that. But that's what we got. So now we're putting on piece 4. Okay, and how piece 4 goes is they go, oh god damn, this thing's hotter than fuck. So piece 4 goes just like that. If you can see that it's angled down in there, all right, just like that. So let me get this tacked up and then I'll show you guys. But it should look just like that. This is kind of, it's hard to hold all this fucking shit by yourself, but that's gonna be the gusset kit right there. You know, we want to leave room for the shock bolt and all that stuff, but we'll come back to that. I fully boxed this one too, just to weld all that in. We'll let that cool for a minute. And you know, like I welded up here. The next thing I got to do is weld up all this, but I'm going to put all the gussets in first. Number 10 is where we want to go next. Okay, I got moving right along here. So what we got is, this is where 4 goes. We got 9 in there. I got 10. Now what I suggest you guys do on this is, it says put it on the outside of the tube. So what I did is I stuck the steering stabilizer down in there and then just matched it up to that. There is 4 pieces for 11 and 2 of them go there. So we got it there and there. And then right here there's a piece called number 2. It goes right here. So as you can see, so this is spot 2, 10, and 11, just so you guys know in the future. Now what we have to do is weld up all this and weld up all these. I'm going to do those first, but the next thing we're going to put in is piece number 1. Okay, and piece number one goes down in there like that. Right around that, we'll weld all that in. But that's where piece number 1 goes, and then we'll flip it over and do piece number, another piece of 1, because it goes exactly like that. So we'll do that, and then the last thing we'll do is, because we have to keep changing the temperature on the torch, we're gonna have to turn this up, because this cast down here robs the heat out of the stuff, just to let you know. And then another 11 goes right there, but that'll be easy to fix. And then we're on to the last pieces, which 3 goes, I think it goes, yeah, 3 goes right there, as you can see. So it supports that bracket up. And then number 6 goes right here, as you can see. But we want to get all this welded first, because we can't get to it. So we'll come back here in a little bit after I get some more of this welded. This is a lot of fucking work. I would suggest that you plan at least 2 days for yourself if you've never done this. It takes a while to get it all cleaned up, and just getting all the shit fitting right, it's a pain in the ass. You know, like, it's not really hard, it's just you have to, you know, you just got to pay attention. And then, you know, TIG welding it is definitely a lot harder than MIG welding it. You know, just basically, because MIG gun, you just be like, burr, and you're finished. But we'll go ahead and get number 1 on there and go from there. This is where piece 1 goes. I got that fully welded in and gusseted there. They go right there. Alrighty. Piece number 3 goes right here, so it helps brace up this subframe mount. Alrighty, then I welded all this up extra here. Alright, here's where your other 11 goes, kind of right on this frame skid plate tab. Alrighty, and then this is where piece 6 goes. So you got that, you know, this kind of boxed this whole structure in, as you can see. Alrighty, now we have 2 pieces left. They're number 8, and they go on the stays for like whatever. So it just goes like that. But I got to take these to the sandblaster, so we're not too worried about that. But we have everything all welded up and gusseted. Like number 2 goes right there, fully welded. Alrighty, we got all that welded. We got all that welded. All these are welded. So I welded right here just to kind of tighten that up. We got to grind this off because we don't need that on there. Let's see. We got to come up over here and weld all this over here just to run a kind of bead around there. And I think that's it on putting the Texieiratech Gusset kit. So hopefully if you guys do this at home. Oh, also we got to weld up around here. So we'll probably do that tomorrow morning. You know, weld this up around here, there, and right here. And that's pretty much this frame ready to go. It'll have to go back to the sandblasters and powder coaters. I'm going to spend a little time just fucking, you know, cleaning this frame up. Anywhere, you know, you got any rough spots, anything like that, just trying to smooth the frame out, you know. There's some tangs and stuff that I want to weld off. You know, whatever this piece is right here, this thing kind of sucks. But, you know, that's your frame all welded up. This thing, definitely heat goes everywhere on this thing, man. It'd be like, you'd be welding back here, it'd be hot as shit way up here. So, alrighty. Well, that's pretty much it. Hopefully you guys understand this, and, you know, we'll go from there. Alrighty, guys. This is part 2 of working on the TRX450. I have a couple things left to do. I don't think it's really all that important, but we do have the frame all gusseted up. I couldn't find a video on YouTube on how to do this, so that's why I made one, just to show you. It's really, you know, I mean, it's not that hard. It's difficult, but not really. You just gotta, you know, get the pieces to fit. The better you can get them to fit, the easier it is to weld. But like always, check out Instagram, Patreon, Facebook, all that bullshit. And like always, thanks for watching. And I gotta fucking go.